Hello, you are welcome to this channel. My name is Korede Alayake, and on this channel we educate our viewers on topics related to finance, entrepreneurship, real estate and personal development. And on Sunday, every Sunday, we usually have this series we call the Growth Pills from the Bible, Growth Pills from the Bible. And 2 weeks ago, we started a series from the book of 2 Kings chapter 4, where we looked at the woman who who was threatened by the creditors that they were coming to take his two sons in exchange for the debts owed to them. And he began to plead, and he ran to the prophet, and the prophet asked her a question: what do you have in your house? She said she had nothing except a jar of oil. And in the first series, in the first part, we discussed except a jar of oil. That many of us, there are gifts, there are talents we have, but we trivialize it. We trivialize them, we commonize them, we don't see them as anything. But the woman was able to recognize that even though I don't have anything, yet I think I have a jar of oil. And with that jar of oil, we saw the miracle that was performed through the hand of God. And in the second one, when in the second part, which we looked at last week, where Elisha asked her that she should go and borrow vessels. So we were made to understand that borrowing vessels, some of the things we need to fulfill destiny, to refine, to multiply the talent that we have, to refine the talent and the skills that we have, may not necessarily reside with us. We may have to go outside there and borrow, learn from others, borrow wisdom from them, borrow knowledge from them, read their books, listen to their podcasts, watch their videos. So that is the aspect of borrowing vessel when we talk about this context. What we are looking today is the next instruction, part of the instruction that Elisha gave the woman, where he said, do not just gather a few. Don't just gather a few. So I tag this very one. Don't just borrow a few. Don't just gather a few. So what does it mean in this context? It is from how I see it. We can interpret it from different dimensions. But in this context, we are looking at it. How can we grow? When he said, don't borrow a few, don't gather a few, what does it really mean? The Bible says, in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. Elisha told her, don't gather just a few, gather as many as possible. So when we relate this to what we have, and that we need to borrow ideas, we need to learn from others, we need to learn from the best in our industry, in our business, in our career. We need to learn from them so that we can refine our own gifts, we can refine our own talents, we can make it better so that we'll be able to serve our generation better. So what does it mean that we should not borrow a few? It means don't just learn from a few people. Don't just learn from a few. In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. The truth is, it may not just be one person that will have what you are looking for. You may need to learn from the best in your industry. You may need to learn from as many people as possible in your industry, in your career. Look for the top 10. Learn from them. Look for the top 15. Learn from them. Because what you did not learn from one, you will learn from another. The Bible says, to some he gave what? Apostles, some evangelists, some prophets, some pastors, some teachers, for the perfecting of the saints. Even the Bible says, so just like you just want to learn from a teacher, no, you need to balance it. You need to balance it, because there are some things you will not learn from a teacher that you will learn from an evangelist. There are some things you will not learn from an evangelist, you will learn from an apostle. There are some things you will not learn from an apostle, you will learn it from a prophet. So also in your industry, in your career, don't just listen to just one person. As one of my mentors that I follow usually say, he said, always be a good student and not a follower. There's a difference between a follower and a student. A follower is just more or less like following just one person. Whatever the person does, that is what you do. So you don't have the option of seeing what is outside the person. Just like a Yoruba adage will say, If you have not been to another man's farm, you will believe that your own farm, your father's farm, is the biggest in the whole world. But if you are exposed, if you have the privilege of visiting other places, other people's farm, then you will know that compared to your father's own, you will know that is nothing to, you can't even compare the two. So you need to learn from others as well. You need to learn from as many people, as many books as you can read, as many podcasts as you can listen to, as many videos as you can. So he said, don't gather just a few. Be broad, be vast. Don't be monotonous. Don't just say, this is it. This is the only way. There are some people, they are too rigid. They are not flexible. And eventually, that rigidity eventually haunts them in life, because it's all about what this person taught me. Fine, it is good to have a particular person you look up to, but also look at other aspects. Let other people teach you. I'm going to give you an example. So what a student does is, a student listens to many teachers, then you look at your life. What is it? How can you apply what is being taught? Because as much as I know that principles are good, I need to say this. Principles are universal, but the application of principles are: 1, personal; 2, contextual; 3, geographical. I say that again. Principles are universal. Principles of marriage, principles of career, principle of saving. There are so many principles that we can talk about. Principle of oneness. But the truth is, principles are personal. Because the principle works in one way for that person, it may not work for you. So you need to put your own self. Okay, how does this apply to me? What will I do? For instance, some people are doing some businesses, they've taught you that is how to do it. In your own geography, in your own location, will that work? So that's why you need to be a good student. Don't just follow hook, line, and sinker. Do you understand? So when you have read from many people, you have learned from many people, then you come back, you look at it. I'm the one in question. How do I apply this to my life? Let me give you an example. I'm in the real estate industry, for instance. I play in that industry. So I listen to many people. I listen to Dr. Stephen Akitayo. I listen to Coach Chude Kalu. I listen to Mr. Adebo Adejano. I listen to Wale Ayelara. I listen to Veritasi Adetona Lola. Now, I need to say this. When it comes to land banking, for instance, it is Dr. Stephen Akitayo. When it comes to rental income, when it comes to periodical income, it is Coach Chude Kalu. When I want to listen to a balanced teaching, somebody who balances both, I listen to Mr. Adebo Adejano. When it comes to development and investments, I listen to Wale Ayelara, I listen to Adetona Lola, because those ones are developers. I still have many that I can give you that I listen to. So when it comes to my own, when I want to apply same to my company, then I look at it. What is it that will work for me? Not because it will work for Landway, then it is going to work for me the same way. What work for him may not work for me. What work for Veritasi may not work for our own, may not work for Calvary Homes. Do you understand? What work for Gist X Home, which is Dr. Stephen Akitayo, may not work for me. Fine, they have taught almost the same principle, but I need to know, how does it apply to me? So that's why you need to listen to many. Now you apply it. Don't forget, principles are universal. The application is personal, is contextual, and it is geographical. Do you understand? So, borrow not a few. Don't just learn from just one person. Learn from as many as possible. And please, when you are learning from people, make sure they are people who have results, who have proven track record. Don't just listen to anybody. When we say, because I need to also I need to balance that. Don't just listen to anybody. There are so many things flying on social media, flying on the TV. Don't just listen to anybody. Look at their track record. Do they have a proven result of what they are talking about? that they are not just talking, they have the results. So after you have done that, then now apply it to your life. So Elisha told the woman, don't just gather a few. Gather as many as you can. Learn from as many people as you can. Read as much as you can. Be vast, be broad. If you are not broad, you will be myopic in your view. If it is only one person you are following, you will be myopic. You will only see life the way that person sees it. You will only see life the way that person sees it. You will be myopic. You need exposure to the right knowledge, to the right people. So, borrow not a few, gather not a few. That is my summation from that aspect of gather not a few. There are so many interpretations to it, but in this context, that is just, you may have another interpretation for it, so many interpretations, but that is just my own. If you are here to subscribe to this channel, kindly do by clicking on the notification, on the subscribe button, and click on the notification bell so that you can join our notifications squad, so that whenever we release a new video, you will be among the first that will be notified. And also help us to like this video and share it with as many people that you think we need this. If you are yet to watch the part 1 and part 2, then you can check our playlist. There, the part 1 and the part 2 is there. So till we meet in our next video, which is next Sunday, stay blessed.